Hello, Dominic.
Hello.
So what can you tell us about Kolguev?
With Kogu, we decided to go for something more unique compared to the rest of the game. So it's focused on heavy industry, the island, and there's a lot of mining there. And most excitingly, we also have Kolguev set in autumn.
Hey, Mariam. So, what can you expect persistent loadouts in Reforger, and are we ever going to be able to create them in the menu before the match starts?
I'm not sure about making them in the menu, but as far as I know, that the persistent loadouts are something that is being worked on. I can't ensure any date, of course, because I'm not got much to leak things, but I know they are in the progress.
And how about some better explainers for all the sliders in controls menu?
Oh yeah, that's definitely something we are working on. I've already seen some done. It's just a lot of text, and we have to make sure that the text makes sense to people who are not developers, because of course a lot of it would make sense to me, but then the players would be confused, so it takes a bit of time to polish it and make the text working for others.
And speaking of controls, are we ever gonna get dead zone adjustments in Reforger?
That one is a bit more tricky to do than we expected, but we know it's an issue, we acknowledge it's an issue, and we shall see.
We already have the animations in the game. We already have emote user interface in the game. When are we getting more emotes than just a salute?
Basically, they were there for a bit of time. On one experimental, we accidentally put more emotes in, and then we had to remove them because they were not functioning as we were expecting. So I can't tell any date, but it's something that we also have prepared, and you may see it eventually.
What about dragging multiple items in inventory, like stacks of magazines, morphines, and stuff like that?
Yeah, that would be great, but as far as I know, from people who worked on the inventory, our inventory right now has issues supporting dragging multiple items in general, and stacks are representing multiple items in the inventory. So we had some technical limitations on that.
And now the burning question, we get it often. Are you even working on HOTAS implementation?
Oh, HOTAS! Well, Zguba first have to do some... I will have to do... And then we have to... So, I guess...
So, Rafał. Working periscopes for the armored vehicles. Is that coming? Are you working on it? What's the issue?
It's a planned feature that will be working on it. Currently we are facing some challenges, but it's definitely something that we will be delivering at some point.
What's taking you? Like, RHS already made it. What's so difficult?
Well, I know that RHS already made it because I'm also part of RHS, but we have to take into consideration like performance and other possible hurdles that may arise from implementing it in a wide scale.
A lot of people have been asking about mine disarming. Can we ever expect that in the game?
Well, we are...
Hey, Jasper.
Yeah.
How do you approach balanced gameplay regarding different factions in the game?
So I think the beauty of the Arma system is that we don't balance gameplay by just balancing damage values of particular rifles or vehicles or something. Instead, we use like realistic values and make sure that each faction has the appropriate equipment that's both authentic to the time and you know, realistic type of faction that they are, but also the type of vehicles and weapons that actually can counter each other in unique ways, giving some weapons more strong bullets, and giving other weapons having other weapons have a particularly high rate of fire, and this way they naturally balance each other out without changing the authentic values and properties of the weapons and vehicles for each faction.
Hey, Buracisco. Well, what are you doing to improve server performance to make the driving and shooting and playing better overall?
Well, that's a difficult question. We are trying our best to optimize everything we can, but as soon as we do that, the new features are presented and those are taking away another performance, so it's just an endless fight against each other. But we'll do our best.
Okay, and what are you doing to improve hit registration?
Well, that's usually connected to those, but first thing, have a better server performance and better connection in general. And then we'll see what we can do.
Will servers always rely on the backend, or could they be disconnected from the backend sometime in the future, especially community servers?
Right now, it's not any like near visible future to be able to do so. But maybe in a few years it will be possible. But right now we are very dependent on the backend. That's the only way.
So Evan, when are you fixing the screen tearing on PlayStation 5?
I personally am fixing the screen tearing on PlayStation 5 in an upcoming major update, which is coming quite soon.
Hey Philip.
Hey.
One of the big questions we have is, will footsteps ever get quieter when crouching or moving slowly?
Like the situation now is that if you move faster, you are louder, but the loudness doesn't matter if you are in crouch or erected state. So basically, if you want to be quieter, move slower, and there should be audible difference.
When it comes to PlayStation surround sound, at the moment it's only in stereo. Will that improve in the future?
Yeah, we are aware of that limitation. Currently, we support only stereo for PS5, but we are working on getting full surround sound for PS5 as well.
Hey Natasha. So considering you're the boss behind everything, what's your favorite feature that the team is working on that hasn't been announced yet?
I would never tell you anything like this, because we want to keep surprise for the players. But completely unrelated, do you know that wheels is not the only way to propel a vehicle forward? And also, I heard that it was a bit too easy for snipers to snipe, so we're gonna make it harder for you.
Hello Zozo.
Hi.
So we're getting elimination scenario in 1.3. Can we expect any more single player content in the future?
Yes.
Hey Klamach.
Hello, thank you for bothering me again.
So, can we ever expect grass to render beyond 300 meters or to have people hidden at distance?
So it is actually a big issue which we are aware of, but we don't want to have a simple solution as Arma 3 had, which was basically just a fake polygon which was covering the objects. There is no simple solution that we could apply, so yet it is unknown how we're gonna solve it.
We currently have FSR 1.0. Can we expect getting something better like FSR 3.1 or DLSS, PSSR for PlayStation, anything similar?
We are evaluating the upgrade of FSR, but all of those methods are not our target at this moment. We are improving the rendering to be as realistic and physically correct as possible before we even consider adding any additional AI-driven improvements.
Are you thinking of making FIA a playable faction in Conflict?
No comment.
HQ Commander is coming eventually. Can you tell us a little more about it?
So it's actually a very exciting set of features which will definitely change how the conflict is played. We want to make we want to add tools for people to control the flow, the strategy of your whole faction. So basically we'll create this role where a commander will be able to create objectives and control how your faction is playing, what different groups are doing, and how he realizes the strategy.
First-person servers. Can we expect them?
Eventually, yes. I wish to have them. I know many people want to have this more extreme, more realistic gameplay. But first we need to make sure that drivers can operate even in that setup. So we need to add mirrors and working periscopes. so people can still deliver supplies for your purpose.
Hey, so now that I see you play on official server as FIA, can we expect that in the future for other players as well?
No comment.
Being able to disable distant shadows or lower your grass quality and grass distance to minimum, people consider cheating in a way. Can we address that in the future?
Yeah, so we have to think about people with weaker hardware and how they enjoy the game. Like everyone wants to have frames and have a chance in when they meet, for PvP. Also, the lowest grass distance is already controllable by the server settings. So if you want to have a match like more fair, you can set it up on your server. For vanilla, we want to be inclusive. As for the distant shadows, yes, it is a bit of a problem, and we probably will tweak those settings to make them more fair.
Suppression. Are we getting any?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not, because we don't want the character to be afraid of getting killed. We want you to be afraid of that and think about what you're doing in game and how you approach dangerous places. The weapon shots, the cracks, the particle effects, we want to improve the visuals and audio to the point that it affects you and you actually get scared of those when you get under fire. And we want to also increase the importance of life, so you start caring about your actions. When people play with intention of not dying, their combat behaviors are also a lot more realistic, and that improves the games for everyone.
So why isn't Arma Reforger getting a Steam Workshop anymore?
It's just not worth the work. The backend workshop that we have already, it covers all 3 platforms, when Steam Workshop would only cover the PC, and it would be actually additional work for us, so we have to consider the priorities and what is really doable and what is really valuable for the game.
And what is your favorite feature of Reforger? Anything that's come out before or that hasn't even come out yet?
Well, of course, my favorite feature of Reforger is the attack helicopters. That's about to be coming with the 1.3 update. I work on it myself, and I'm a big fan of explosives and aircraft, so obviously attack helicopters is right up my alley.
It will be helicopters. I'm very bad at flying them, but I still like to fly them, which sometimes drives people who go with me insane.
Definitely the explosive charges, the shenanigans that you can do with them. They are pretty cool, especially during the nighttime where players don't expect to meet the enemy.
Definitely radio.
Actually, the radio system.
Well, lately I kind of became fan of mortar strikes. Like you can open GM editor and you can bombard the whole city. It's kind of nice also for audio, so we can stress test.
My favorite feature for sure are the mortars, because it was the first feature I have properly worked on from start to finish with the developers team, and I saw the iterations of it from being extremely basic to the beautiful complex thing we have now, and the havoc you can wreak is just amazing.
Oh my goodness, that's a very difficult question, because I love all of them. There's so many things in the photo that I enjoy doing and playing with. It's really hard to pick the favorite. I think recently it's gonna be the gunship helicopters in 1.3. Just love doing some small combat sorties, flying, engaging the FIA, coming back, rearming, and doing it all over again, especially with track air. It's quite cool.
That is very hard for me to answer, to be honest, because I feel like, first of all, we have plenty of great features and everyone should check them out for themselves. But most importantly, none of the features would be as impactful as they are without the game modes that we have. And they all come together in conflict or game master that really make them shine. So in a way, my favorite features are game modes.